One Piece.
Alonzo stops right before they reach the door and turns around slowly, staring at Jake with pure disgust. Shakes his head. God damn, you really are a scary little bitch, ain't you? Steps up close to him again, voice low and venomous. I can smell the fear coming off you from a mile away. These niggas in here are gonna eat your ass alive if you walk in there looking like this. Grabs Jake's face with one hand, squeezing his cheeks. Fix your fucking face. Releases him and gives him a hard stare. You walk in there like you got a pair, like you belong here. If you embarrass me in front of these people, I swear to God I will smoke your ass myself. You hear me?
Jake feels the adrenaline coursing through his veins, his entire body tensing up as Alanzo grabs his face and squeezes. He nods, trying to control his breathing as his face is released. He can't help but flinch at the threat, but he knows he has to do this. He takes another deep breath, trying to calm his racing thoughts. Yeah, I hear you. I'll fix my face. I won't embarrass you. I'll walk in there like I belong.
Alanzo immediately snaps, his face twisting in anger. The fuck did I just tell you? Grabs Jake by the throat and slams him back against the wall hard. Didn't I just tell you to keep your fucking mouth shut? Presses his forearm against Jake's throat, shaking him slightly. You hard-headed as fuck, ain't you? Leans in close, voice ice cold. I don't want to hear another goddamn word out of your mouth unless I ask you a direct question. Do you understand me? Presses harder. Blink twice if you understand.
Jake feels the air rush out of his lungs as his back hits the wall, the impact knocking him off balance for a moment before Alonzo's arm is suddenly around his throat. He tries to move, instinctive panic setting in. But he can't. He can't breathe. He fights back the fear that threatens to take over and nods quickly, looking into Alonzo's eyes. He blinks twice, signaling his understanding.
Alanzo keeps his forearm pressed against Jake's throat for a few more seconds, staring into his eyes with pure menace, before finally releasing him. Steps back and watches Jake gasp for air. That's better. Straightens his own jacket calmly like nothing happened. Now fix your face, rookie. We're going in. Turns toward the door and starts walking again. And this time, not a fucking sound out of you. Let's go.
Jake stands there for a moment, lungs burning, trying to regain his composure. He rubs the red mark on his neck, feeling the sting fade into a dull ache. He takes a few shaky breaths, trying to steady his racing heart. The fear of Alonzo's reaction is now even more palpable. He straightens his shirt and hair, making sure he looks somewhat presentable. As he follows Alanzo into the building, he makes sure to stay right behind him, maintaining the proper distance and pace. He takes a deep breath and prepares himself for whatever awaits them inside.
Alanzo stops right before opening the door and turns around one last time, looking Jake up and down with a cold, critical stare. You still look like a scared little bitch, but it'll have to do. Steps closer and speaks in a low, deadly serious tone. Remember what I said. You see anything, you hear anything, you keep that shit to yourself. You don't react. You don't flinch. You don't look surprised at nothing. Grabs Jake's shirt and pulls him in close one last time. And if you embarrass me in front of these people, I will beat your ass to death right in front of them. Releases him and smirks. Let's go. Opens the door and walks inside. Stay on my hip.
Jake follows Alanzo inside, his heart pounding in his chest. He has to fight every natural instinct in his body to react to the rough surroundings. The atmosphere is thick with tension and danger. He can hear the low chatter of voices, the clinking of glasses, and the sound of music playing somewhere off in the distance. He can feel the eyes of the men inside the room on him, sizing him up. He fights the urge to look back, keeping his eyes locked on Alanzo's back like Alanzo instructed him to do.
Alanzo walks through the dimly lit room with total confidence, like he owns the place. Several dangerous-looking men nod at him with respect as he passes. He suddenly stops walking and turns his head slightly toward Jake without fully looking at him. Alanzo, low, under his breath. Stop walking like a scared tourist, Hoyt. Square your shoulders. Walk like you got a dick between your legs. Continues walking deeper into the room, heading toward a back corner where 3 men are sitting at a table. mutters quietly again, barely loud enough for Jake to hear. These niggas already clocked you. They know you green. Don't make this shit worse. Alanzo finally stops in front of the table, his whole demeanor changing as he puts on a cold, dangerous smile. What's good, fellas?
Jake tries to do as Alanzo says, straightening his shoulders and doing his best to imitate Alanzo's confident demeanor. As they approach the table, he can feel the weight of the men's gazes on him, assessing him like a piece of meat. He tries to ignore the pounding of his heart in his ears and match Alanzo's expression. As Alanzo speaks to the men at the table, Jake takes a quick glance around the room, his eyes scanning the surroundings. The room is dark and seedy, with low lighting and rough-looking furniture. The air is thick with smoke and the sound of low.
Alanzo immediately notices Jake looking around the room and shoots him a death stare for half a second, before turning back to the men at the table with a cold smile. Alanzo, to the men, y'all already know what it is. I brought my new boy out with me tonight. Gotta break him in right. One of the men at the table, a big, scarred-up gangster, looks Jake up and down slowly before smirking. Man, he looked like he about to shit his pants, Lonzo. Alanzo chuckles, but his eyes are ice cold as he turns his head slightly toward Jake again. Alanzo, quiet, between his teeth. Keep your fucking eyes forward, rookie. I swear to God. Turns back to the table with a fake smile. He good. Still a little green, but he'll learn. Now, where's my money at?
Jake suddenly feels a shiver run down his spine. He quickly shifts his gaze forward, forcing himself to look forward like Alanzo said. He can feel the men at the table's eyes on him, weighing him up and down like he's prey. He can feel their eyes on him, like they can see the fear in his eyes. He tries to keep his body still, his breathing steady, but he can't help but clench his jaw, betraying his fear. But he remembers what Alanzo said, so he keeps silent, keeping his gaze forward.
Alanzo notices Jake clenching his jaw and immediately gets irritated. He suddenly turns and grabs Jake hard by the back of the neck, squeezing tight while still smiling at the men at the table like nothing's wrong. Alanzo, smiling at the table but talking low through his teeth directly into Jake's ear. Relax your fucking jaw before I break it. He gives Jake's neck one hard squeeze as a warning, then lets go and turns back to the table smoothly. Alanzo, to the men, laughing. Little homie still got some nerves, that's all. Y'all know how these rookies are on their first night. The men at the table start laughing at Jake. One of them leans back and says, Man, this the one you said was gonna be your new bitch? Alanzo grins, but his eyes are dead serious as he glances sideways at Jake again, waiting to see how he reacts to being openly disrespected. Your move, Hoyt.
Jake wants to protest, to say something to defend himself, but he remembers what Alanzo said, what the men at the table are expecting to see. He takes a deep breath, trying to ignore the pain in his neck, and forces a small, tight-lipped smile. He doesn't say anything, hoping that his silence will suffice in keeping him from further embarrassing himself.
Alanzo smiles slowly, clearly satisfied with Jake's silence. He gives Jake a firm pat on the back, hard enough to sting, like he's praising a dog that just learned
Jake feels the heavy weight of Alanzo's hand on his back, a silent warning to stay in line. He clenches his teeth, struggling to keep his expression neutral. He can feel the gazes of the men at the table still on him, making his skin crawl. He just wants to disappear, to be anywhere but here. Jake feels the sting of the pat on his back, his pride wounded. He keeps his expression neutral. He wishes he could say something, anything, to stand up for himself. But he knows his life depends on maintaining the facade, so he stays silent. The men at the table chuckle some more, clearly amused by Jake's lack of response.
Alanzo smirks and chuckles, clearly enjoying Jake's humiliation. Alanzo, to the table? Told y'all he was a good boy. Still got them manners from the academy. The men laugh louder. One of them even slaps the table. Man, this motherfucker really ain't gonna say shit? He just gonna stand there and take it like a little bitch? Alanzo takes a slow step to the side, so he can fully look at Jake's face. His expression is ice cold now, no longer pretending. Alanzo, low, dangerous tone, directly to Jake. You got something you want to say, Hoyt? Leans in slightly, 'cause it looked like you dying to open your mouth right now. Go ahead, speak. The entire table goes dead silent, all eyes locked on Jake. This is a test. Your move, rookie.
Jake can feel the weight of all eyes staring at him, waiting for him to speak, waiting to see if he's going to break character. He knows that if he speaks, it's likely going to end badly, very badly. But he also knows that if he doesn't say something, he'll continue to be treated like a pussy. It's a lose-lose situation, but he figures at this point he has to say something. He takes a deep breath, trying to keep himself from shaking.
Alonzo's face instantly changes. The moment he sees Jake about to speak, his expression turns dark and furious. Alanzo, through gritted teeth, voice low and deadly. Don't you fucking do it. He steps directly in front of Jake, completely blocking him from the table, getting nose to nose with him. Alanzo, whispering with pure venom. I swear to God, if you open your fucking mouth right now, I will beat the dog shit out of you, right here in front of everybody. His eyes are burning with rage. You had one motherfucking job. Keep your mouth shut. He glares at Jake for another long second before turning back around to the table with a fake smile, acting like nothing happened. Alanzo, to the table, laughing. He good. Still learning. Y'all know how these new niggas are. Turns his head slightly toward Jake again without looking at him and mutters under his breath. Keep your fucking mouth shut for the rest of the night, or I'm gonna kill you myself. Your move, Jake.
Jake's heart is pounding in his chest. He can't believe what's happening. It was like Alanzo was switching from normal to crazy in the blink of an eye. He swallows hard, trying to steady himself. He can feel the men's eyes on his back, waiting for him to speak up, the pressure building. He clenches his jaw, taking Alanzo's threat to heart.
Alanzo stares at Jake for a long, tense moment, steadying his face like he's reading every thought in his head. He slowly steps back, finally giving Jake a little space. Alanzo, low, cold, and calm. Smart choice. Turns back to the table like nothing happened, his whole demeanor shifting back to smooth and confident. Alanzo, to the men, we ain't here to play games all night. Where's my shit? The men at the table laugh and start putting money and drugs on the table. One of them looks over at Jake again and smirks. Man, your new bitch learning quick, huh, Alanzo? Alanzo doesn't even look at Jake this time. He just answers while counting the money. Alanzo, he's learning, slowly.